Hey, everybody, and welcome to the webinar. If you are watching on the recording, hello, the future. Hopefully it's looking bright out there. It's a little rainy out here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada today. But if you are here live, welcome to the webinar. Please jump into the chat and say hi if you can see me, if you can hear me. Tell me where you're coming from and let me know what you're excited to learn about here today. We have a lot of people in the chat already, which is great. Hello from Maryland. Rainy here too from Lisa. Hello from London. Hello from Romania, Malaysia, Rotterdam, Nigeria, India, Netherlands, Mexico, Sweden, Quebec, Spain, Waterloo, Kazakhstan, Sao Paulo, Brazil, a couple from Brazil. Awesome. UK, France, Mexico. It looks like we're all across the world today, which is very exciting. We love to have a global audience here at Thinkific and to hear from a diverse crowd out there. This is really exciting for me, for sure. Today, we're going to be talking about 2022 online learning trends within the knowledge economy space, i.e., people selling online courses, people running online education businesses, and from what we've seen here at Thinkific by watching over 50,000 people launch and successfully sell their online courses. We're going to show you all of that today. So I've just opened it up a little bit early. If you're watching the recording right now, you can kind of skip ahead to when we actually get started. But I like to open up a little bit early just in case people are filtering in. I can see that attendee count rising, which is very exciting. We also have Kiri and Maddie here from the Thinkific team, and they are going to be helping you out in the chat with answers to your questions. If at any time you do have a question, feel free to drop that in the chat. Sometimes the chat gets a little bit too hectic and we might miss a question here and there. So if we do, I apologize. Just go ahead and pop that question back into the chat, but don't spam as well. And we will see that. There we go. First question from Steve. Will there be a link to the recording sent? Yes, there will be, Steve. And everyone who's an early bird here today, I'm going to give you a fun little job for the rest of the webinar here today. We're going to get latecomers, and I'm going to cover some more about this webinar very shortly, like the fact that we're giving out replays for sure. But if you are here right now and you can hear me and you can see me, I want you to go ahead and let them know if they ask that question that there will be a replay sent out very shortly after today's presentation. Great. Looks like we have Anna from Sweden. We have Helen from Texas. Chris from Central Germany. Hello from Utah, from Melissa. Great. Nova Scotia, Ireland, Reno, Nevada, St. Louis, George, South Africa. Hello from Kazakhstan. Is that our second person from Kazakhstan? That might be a first for us. Awesome. So many places all over the world that I want to come and travel. As the pandemic is kind of quieting down, hopefully, we do a lot of global meetups with course creators. So let us know if you're interested in hosting a course creator meetup in your local area. We're going to be rolling out something in the future for that. So it's good to know who is excited to build their communities around them. Maurice would love to do that. Awesome. Val, I would love that. Always traveling. Yes, I want to host. Great. Yeah, just give us a shout. Awesome. So it is 10 a.m. here in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. This presentation is called Closing the Gap 2022 Online Learning Trends. You might be wondering who I am. My name is Aaron Morin. I'm the lead educator here at Thinkific. I've got over 8 years experience teaching online. I've studied over 50,000 course creator launches on Thinkific, and I've helped over 10,000 people get started creating and selling their own courses on the Thinkific platform. Before we get started, I want to tell you how to get the most out of this training session. This is a webinar presentation, so we have the chat there. You can go ahead and ask questions there. And we have Maddie and Kiri from the Thinkific team who are going to be answering your questions. You will definitely get a replay here today. This is being recorded, just so you know. And your join link is going to be in the emails that we sent out. If you're already here, you already know that. But in case you get kicked out, you want to go back to your email, click that link, and that's how you will join. And if you have any trouble, this is a browser-based webinar platform. So if you do have any issues, switch to a different browser like Firefox or Opera or whatever you're using. And then also you can just refresh the page if you're having any trouble with audio or anything like that. But let us know if you have any issues there. Alicia, will we have the slides? We're not giving out slides today, but I am going to give everybody a copy of the report that these slides are based off of. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat for you. There it is. So you can actually download this report. We just released this report today. And this is going to outline everything that I'm covering and more in the webinar. Okay, so I like to make one big takeaway promise to everybody because agenda slides can get kind of overcomplicated and boring. By the end of this webinar, you're going to have the strategies, tactics, and tools to propel you into the top 20% of course creators selling courses in 2022. Okay, that's my big promise for you here today. With the report and this webinar, you should have everything you need. You're in the right place if you like to live on the cutting edge. You're the kind of person who likes to have the absolute best, most cutting edge knowledge and tools, and you want to level up your online courses, or you and your audience really love new ideas. If you're out there and you want to cover the creator economy, the knowledge economy, knowledge commerce, those kinds of topics, this report and this webinar is for you. We're going to be covering the state of the industry, trends, top trends, key takeaways, and then we're going to do a Q&A at the end here today. Keep in mind you can ask questions in the chat here today too. So let's get started. Let's start talking about the state of the knowledge economy. So I want to start off with a quick definition. The knowledge economy is an economy where its growth is dependent on the quantity and quality, as well as the accessibility of information. We like to say that online course businesses fit within the knowledge economy for that reason. And we all know that the internet has changed the world of learning forever. But very recently, with the pandemic, e-learning and online education businesses have grown exponentially. It not only made the online learning a possibility and develop better tools, but also a necessity for most businesses. I'm sure most of you have felt that. And a lot of people have been forced to adopt online learning very quickly. So luckily, online education business tools have come a long way. So we were well prepared for that shift. And we're seeing a huge increase in student demand over 2020, and it isn't going anywhere. So really quickly on the slide here, I want to show you a couple things. Number one, I want to show you where changes of student demand happen the most. And as you can see by those percentages, student demand for these topics increased by quadruple points, right? This is telling us that online learning is the new normal for most, if not all, niches, topics, industries out there. So if you're thinking, I don't know if my industry is really online yet, it definitely is, and there's definitely people wanting these courses, okay? And you're going to notice that like software and technology, health and fitness, those things are a little bit more because those things were done usually in person or over one-on-one calls in the past. And because of the pandemic, that switched to one-to-many like an online course is. Also, people are preferring online learning because timing is more flexible, it's more accessible, and you can go at your own pace. We surveyed people taking online courses, and these were the top reasons why they took the courses. And you can kind of consider that for yourself as well. Time saving and flex benefits also go both ways, right? So if you are a coach, a speaker, an author, a creator out there, you can really free up your time by creating products like online courses. So it goes both ways for the flexibility, accessibility, and your own pace. So that said, a lot of people are kind of skeptical about whether or not all newcomers can maintain their success over the pandemic as things cool off. There's currently about 50 million people worldwide who consider themselves digital creators, and they all face the same tools with social media and other tools, and it's gotten a little easier to build an audience, but growing it to a large following and monetizing that audience is still a big challenge. The story was that you needed like 10,000 or more followers to even think about a possible online business, but that story isn't true for creators in the knowledge economy. Over the last 3 years, we've seen a huge shift from the majority of successful course creators being influencers or established experts to those with smaller audiences. So if you're here today and you have under 10,000 followers in your audience, you're still really well positioned to succeed. And if you're a part of that large majority of course creators under that, then just know that audience is not a blocker anymore. So as you can see, 35% of all students attending courses by creators, those people, 35% was that 10,000 or less followers. That's since jumped up. So most students are taking courses from people with less than 10,000 followers or email subscribers or YouTube subscribers, that kind of thing. So the future looks pretty bright. Student demand is really increasing. So there's a lot of room to grow for smaller businesses as you're just getting started. Now, one of the main quotes from our trends report is that you can't create courses the same way you would 5 years ago. And I'll explain what I mean. 5 years ago, it used to just be video playlists, right? It was boring slides, one-way communication, and like monolithic long courses, but you can't do that anymore. There's tools and tech out there to make online learning more engaging for students and profitable for course creators. And students really expect an engaging experience right now. One of the big failures for online learning businesses is just to not realize the benefits of all of these technologies. So things like communities, live lessons, interactive bits, multiple products, templates, all these kinds of things are really important to students now. So if you don't have these in your course, then these are the kinds of things that you need to be looking at. All right, so that's the state of things as they are now. Let's talk about how top creators have changed the game. So we decided to talk with the top 20% of creators selling online courses on the Thinkific platform. And we found out what they're doing differently so that you can avoid making the same tired mistakes with your own business. And that means that we spoke to creators who are earning the most student enrollments on a monthly basis. So when I say top creators, that means people who are, they have sustainable, growing, scaling businesses on Thinkific. They're selling lots and they're serving lots of students. So we uncovered five top trends that show us how top creators are changing the game. The first one, moving back a couple slides here, this is the first trend, is that you really don't need a big audience anymore in order to succeed. So we'll continue on from there. So the first new one that I want to get into here is that learning gets personal, okay? So online courses are, for the most part, shifting away from one-way communication to two-way communication or many-to-many communication. Students are finding a lot more value in interaction and connection from teachers and peers and communities. Online courses need to have a little bit more than just content, right? Like a one-way communication experience where they can't interact with anything. And online courses that are like that feel like work, right? I'm sure we've all taken courses in the past where we've sat there and we've had to go through long videos and you're just kind of forcing your way through it. It feels lonely and it's really up to you to be able to like do that on your own pace. So things are changing. Not a lot of people have the willpower, and we've seen that from completion rates. I'm sure you've heard completion rates on online courses for a very long time have been really down, but that's because the tools and technology for interactivity just weren't there until now. The best course creators on the Thinkific platform are taking advantage of these tools. So they're building these really engaging in-person, they make it feel like a really engaging in-person learning experience. The pandemic has pushed a lot of students to take online courses, so they don't really have that early adopter mindset anymore of trying something new online. They really are looking for something reminiscent of what they're used to. And they're used to in-person classes or in-person coaching, right? So how are they doing this? So successful course creators on the Thinkific platform are twice as likely to build and run communities alongside their course. They're also 1.5 times as likely to use live lessons and 1.25 times more likely to use drip schedules to release course content over time. So top creators are moving away from treating courses like a series of static, never-changing pieces of content, kind of like a book in a library. Instead, they're more becoming like town squares with ongoing discussions, education tailored around common interests, that kind of stuff. And not only is that great for engagement, but it also gives students a reason to come back time and time again. Now, what does this look like in practice? We spoke with Amanda Henderson from Layla Martin, and she's been using communities as a part of her courses. And here is what she had to say.
Active. So whenever you start a community, you as the creator are going to be the community. For us, community is really important in just like giving that other perspective to students and allowing them to really feel the support from all angles versus just kind of being isolated and feeling alone in their own process. I think one group has like 15,000 users in it. Another one has close to 7,000 to 8,000 users in it.
Wow.
They're very, very active. So whenever you start a community, you as the creator are going to be the community for a bit. Like you are the community. You're going to be the one in there posting. You're going to be the one in there trying to ask the right questions, right? And it will take some time. Reply. Like to get it going, you have to let people know that there is engagement. And if it's not with other people, it's going to have to be you. So if somebody posts something, reply to it, even if it's just a smiley face. And usually engaging content is something that creates a challenge or allows people to express an opinion or a point of view. So it can't just all be like pictures of your dog or direct things from the course itself, right? Like if you want to post only about the course, like take something out of it that's going to be opinionated. Like if you have a community, your course or your content creation is more successful because hundreds of studies have shown that like humans in nature don't really like to be alone. So I think online communities are only going to become more important.
So that was Amanda Henderson. I see the video didn't work for some people out there, so I'll just go ahead and summarize that up for everybody here. The main takeaway really is that a course ends, but a community keeps bringing people back. It also takes a lot of work to put a community together, so it definitely isn't one of those set it and forget it kind of things. When you're running a course community, you want to give people a reason to come back, and you want to role model that behavior for them. Amanda Henderson uses those communities to increase the lifetime value of these courses to the students. They'll finish the content, but they'll keep coming back for the discussions and for the network that they're building in these courses. So this is a strategy that we're seeing top course creators use. And a lot of you out there might already be Thinkific course creators. If not, you can get started at thinkific.com for free. And I just wanted to quickly show you a quick example of how this works. So I'm going to go ahead and open up my browser here, and I'm going to show you exactly how this works for course creators or for students first. So when you're a student and you're coming to a Thinkific website here, you're going to see different courses here on a course website. There's different prices here. There's different categories of things. You can get all access passes or free courses. And what's going to happen is usually people go ahead, they check out a course here like so, they read the sales page, they read all about what people are saying about it. All of this is built on Thinkific, by the way. So you can have a course website just like this. And when they're ready, they're going to go ahead and enroll in the course. So when they do that, they fill out an email address, first name, last name, and then they add their credit card here. I'm just going to go ahead and add a coupon so I don't have to add my credit card right here on the webinar. But then we go ahead and add our email address. And Thinkific checkouts can also have order bumps or upsells right inside of the checkout here. So you can do special one-time offers on your courses here. Privacy policy terms of use, of course. And when you complete your purchase, then you finish up creating your account here as a student. You can add extra fields here too. So if you have requirements to add country codes or that kind of thing, you can do that here, or phone numbers. And once that's finished, you can also add upsells after the process. So you can actually include these after purchase flows is what they're called to do even more one-time offers. Now, once you're through the buying purchase here, it's going to take you into the online course experience. And of course, we have our videos here introducing our instructor. You can have a presentation here with a voiceover instead, if that's more your style. And then you can have audio lessons, surveys, interactive bits, that kind of thing. But you can also have live lessons here. And we're seeing that a lot of top creators are using live lessons to create more interactive and engaging. Oh, there we go. Not showing the screen here. All right, let's back that up. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you exactly what I was talking about here. Sorry about that. All right. So we're going to go. Thank you for the smiley faces. We're back. So you go back. Let's start from the top here. So from a student's perspective, signing up on a Thinkific course site here is quite easy. I will jump through this here so you can see that you have sales pages, home pages where students can buy the course. They're going to go through the checkout here as well, add their email address. I'm going to go ahead and add that coupon so that I don't have to pull that out on the webinar. And then there it is. There's the order bump here that I was talking about. You can have these one-time offers in your checkout. We're going to go ahead and finish up the sign-up process here as a student. Then you can also do upsells after this period here. So if you wanted to sell something like career coaching, that kind of thing for this example site, or any kind of like services, this is really a good time for those kinds of upsells. And once we move past that, we are into our famous course player, where the student can actually enjoy the content. So as you can see here, there's some video content here with the instructor. We have our presentation here with our slides. You can have audio lessons with transcripts. You can pretty much have any kind of media type within a Thinkific course. But one thing that we're seeing a lot is these live lessons. So as I was saying, you can connect your Thinkific course website with Zoom, and you can actually have these live experiences on those days. So for example, this one's on Friday. If you click this button on Friday, it sends you into a Zoom meeting or a webinar, your choice. And at that point, you can do a little bit more interactive teaching or live teaching instead of just video teaching. Now, if we back up here one more time, we go to our student dashboard. We can see which courses we have access to, but we can also see which communities we have access to. So Amanda Henderson was talking about setting up your communities, and this course website has one for the entire website, but also one for every single course that is on the course website. So if I go ahead and click on the student group, it'll take me into a fully branded, your brand only experience here. So this is kind of like a Facebook group almost with different spaces. We can go ahead and click into a discussion or a person to see more. And we can go ahead and comment here too. So we can add videos, we can add links, all that kind of stuff. So you can have your own student group here that students have to pay to get access to. You can also do this without having to pay for it, and you can just offer that for free too. So if you're looking to get off of a Facebook group, this is going to be how you do that. There's also a wonderful little tool here called the Drip Scheduler. So if you want to do a cohort-based course that launches over a series of weeks or months or something like that, as you can see here in the course, if I click on the next chapter of lessons here, I'm going to get a warning. It has not been released. It will release next week around the same time there. So when you're setting up your courses in Thinkific, you can actually use all of these tools to make it a little bit more engaging and enticing to your customers. All right, let's move on to trend number 2 here. The rise of multi-product learning. So online learning is becoming a lot more than just online courses. Top creators are expanding their businesses to offer memberships, ebooks, physical products, one-on-one coaching, and more. So if you're just focusing on selling a single course this whole time, it might be time to rethink that approach. So this is a pretty typical example. You are probably very familiar with the one-time purchase courses out there. You know, $200, you get access to the course, unlimited access, that kind of thing. But top creators on our platform are thinking a little bit bigger for sure. So for example, they are going to be doing things like offering multiple products, payment options, and giving the option to choose how students want to learn with the content. So do they want a course? Do they want downloadables, a membership, a community? All of those things are included somewhere within an ecosystem for top creators. It's kind of like when you're buying Apple products, the more you buy in, the better value you get out of the whole ecosystem, right? So we learned that about 85% of our top 20% creators sell more than just one product or service on Thinkific. And these things can include things like ebooks, courses, coaching, communities, and more. And they're 3 times as likely as other kinds of course creators to sell courses in bundles of courses, which is one price for maybe 3 or 5 different courses. We spoke with Latasha James, who started with one evergreen course, but then slowly introduced a few other learning products. She's got a social media toolbox with templates and different cohort courses, and she says that it has made a huge impact on her business. And she has some advice for creators that are looking to scale up. So let's hear from Latasha.
It started with just an evergreen course, kind of what most people would probably think of when they think of a course, just, you know, slides, some videos here and there. So that worked really well for me for quite a few years, like I said. But when I introduced the toolbox, that was really like, okay, this is what people are looking for. This is really resonating with people. So that's kind of where I started to strategize a little bit more about different formats that I could start offering and things like that. I would say that with just the evergreen courses, I was in, you know, the hundreds, maybe the low thousands. It was just like a small revenue stream. And then, like I said, that launch brought us to our first 5-figure launch, and we've had consistent 5-figure months since then. So we are smart about how we kind of feed people into the next cohort if they're interested in taking that next step. And then we also, the toolbox is like, we reference it throughout the different lessons of the social media management accelerator so people can purchase that. We experiment with coupons. Our existing accelerator students can get that toolbox at a special price for being a part of the program. So we definitely do, get creative with how we're sharing the other programs. Another thing, just speaking of bundling too, that's worked really well is kind of giving some exclusivity to your most loyal people, whether that's alumni or email list subscribers. We started doing VIP lists, like early bird launch lists for these cohorts where we'll do a bundle just for those folks. Hey, you get the program, you get the accelerator with the toolbox at this special price only for the first week or so before it goes live to the public. So having those additional products enables us to do those like fun, special surprise and delight kind of things.
There we go. Got the screen back this time. That's good. So to sum up there from Latasha, if you're looking to scale up, you got to think bigger than courses, right? So if you're just starting out, you do want to find success before you split up your focus into multiple different products. But if you are at that point where you're getting some traction with some of your products, then you can think about it in different ways. And we see it time and time again. It's kind of like an onion, right? You give students different layers of products depending on how deep into their brand that they want to go. So if you have a best-selling course, you might want to extrapolate some lead magnets from that, write some blog posts that give those lead magnets away and bring people to the course from there. And then on the other side, you want to give people the opportunity to go deeper with you with coaching services or anything like that, right? So I'm going to show you really quickly how to do this in Thinkific. We're going to start off with bundles, and we will go from there. So here's a quick example of a bundle on a Thinkific website here. There we go. So if you want to get an all access pass, for example, this is a really simple one. When you subscribe, you get all the courses with unlimited access. So on Thinkific, we bought this course just a little while ago, but you can actually see that you can include other courses in this, and then you can offer subscriptions to your customers in order to get access. So for example, you can do $20 a month, or you can do a yearly benefit here of annual subscription with a 20% off discount. And then it works just the same way. So when I go into the order section here, I'm already logged in as a student here, so I don't have to create a new account. It just knows who I am, and then I can just add my credit card here and buy this package. Now, those individual courses, let me just back up here. Those individual courses here within the bundle, they don't have to be courses per se, right? A course is a container for content that you're selling. So if you do make a course, quote unquote, for other kinds of material out there, you can actually include a course, a webinar replay, an ebook, all of those things within a bundle and sell them for subscription or one-time prices. I'm also going to show you really quickly here the Thinkific App Store. We released that very recently here, and it has things like Appointo in here. So Appointo, very much like Calendly, it lets you set up a coaching experience. So you can actually embed coaching booking points within your course. And if you're curious about the App Store in general, these are Thinkific apps out there from different companies creating on the Thinkific platform, and it allows you to extend the functionality of Thinkific in so many different ways. So if you're already using Thinkific and you haven't checked out the App Store, I highly recommend going there and checking it out. So let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. We have two more trends. First, I want to show you a little bit about how creators are taking control of their data. So trend number 3 is one that we feel is incredibly important at Thinkific. And really, it's the reason why we made Thinkific in the first place. In 2016 and 2014, all that on that time period, people were creating on marketplaces for the most part, like Udemy, for example. And you don't really control your business when it's on a marketplace. It's the same thing with your audience, right? So underneath every creator is a gold mine of potential in your audience data. And top course creators for years are thinking how to get that data away from these marketplace platforms, social media platforms, and so on, right? So we often see a lot of creators with big social media followings, and they get there because it's technically organic social media. It's quite cheap, but it's really, really high effort, right? You got to build content. You got to be consistent. You got to play to the algorithm. And we call this earned marketing for a reason, right? You have to earn your place in the sunlight in these places. So you don't want, if you have traction here, that's really good. That's awesome. But you don't want to be here forever. You don't want to have your business on somebody else's platform. Monetizing your audience can be difficult if you're not really a big influencer. Organic reach is down across the board, across all social channels. I know TikTok's really good for that right now, but it's going to change soon. You know, they need to make money somehow, right? So you have to pay for it, ads, right? You have to buy your way into things. And if you don't own your audience, it belongs to Facebook or TikTok or whatever, and that means that they can suddenly change things that might mean you lose your audience. So we interviewed a few people. This is Kat Norton, aka Miss Excel. And she's a creator who started building her audience on TikTok, teaching Excel hacks, believe it or not. Lots of millennials stuck at home with their new jobs, their new remote jobs. They needed to learn Excel really fast. So she caught onto that trend. And what Kat Norton is doing is she's making a priority not to bottle her audience just on social media. Rather, she's treating social media as a means to an end. She's trying to own that relationship so that she can push courses and other offers to an email list or to however she has her audience. So what we're seeing here is that most top course creators actually use social media traffic here to drive traffic to their courses. 34% use a list of leads, i.e. an email list. But think of it, course creators at the top level are 4 times more likely to import audiences. They're going to collect student reviews more often, track student engagement, and collect student feedback in their own tools that they can own, right? So it gives them a direct line of communication to sell new products, update people, and so on and so forth. So you really got to leverage your audience data here. You need to own the relationship, right? It's a huge deal. So let's hear from Kat Norton here. We have a quick interview with Kat, who's done an incredible job, and I would love to share some insights that we learned from her.
So kind of have a system where I flip back and forth between going viral on social media, so putting my energy into creating content to further grow and educate my audience there. And then I also spin back and just keep whipping out more courses on Thinkific. I think I have about 10 in there right now that I've created over the last few months. So for me, there's only so much I can get across on social media in my 15-second videos, where the real opportunity for me to help people and to help them grow is to get them in my longer courses. So usually as a bridge there, I'll create these free webinars, which are power-packed Excel trainings that are about an hour long. And that's where I'll really be able to get people from my social media onto the webinars. And then if they resonate with my teaching style and want to learn more, they then enroll there to my courses. So I kind of use the webinars there as a bridge between my social media and my course students. Like my social media content, all I do is provide tons of free value. Don't be afraid to give out value. And when people come onto my webinars, I give a power-packed 45-minute Excel lesson that opens up people's minds where they're like, whoa, there's so much I didn't know Excel can do, while simultaneously is like, whoa, there's a lot I can learn from Kat, you know? And that is what really makes it a super simple sale. Out of every aspect of my business, course sales has by far been the most lucrative avenue in terms of monetization. Like literally does nothing compared to like partnerships and things like that. Like course sales for me has been hands down the best way to monetize my particular audience.
So that's Kat Norton. If you do want to check her out on TikTok, you can see what she's doing there at Miss Excel. Let me just get the screen back here for you. And one thing that Kat Norton said was that webinars are a huge bridge for her almost. So creating that bridge from the social media to the course itself requires that kind of experience. And the best way to do that is to give. So she said, I give tons of value on social. I give tons of value in my webinar. And then I give even more value in my course. So a lot of people think, you know, what if I give away too much value, right? But realistically, her TikToks, no one's going to go through all of her TikToks in their own self-paced way, right? Like it's not a course. It could be a course that way, but it's not really a course experience. People pay for that curated experience, access to the course creator. And for more, she offers templates, she offers ebooks, all that kind of stuff inside of her courses. So don't worry about giving too much value out there for free. The point is to get attention, and the best way to get attention is to help people with the problem that they're suffering from, right? In these experiences, you move to that next section, which is that webinar experience, or it could be an ebook, it could be anything really. Still free, requires an email address, and then from there, you're starting to build your own list up. You're going to get those hot people right away that really want to buy the course, and then they're going to get those warm people that are not quite ready to do so. You just keep them in your audience, keep them warming up to the course offer, right? So to own the relationship, right? Social media is a great place to get started, but for top creators, it really does become about owning your marketing instead of earning. So from an action standpoint here, I'm going to show you just a really quick overview of the back end of Thinkific here. We've seen a lot of the front end of Thinkific already, the student experience. But when you're in the back end of Thinkific, we're going to support you here too, right? So when you're using a Thinkific website here and you start to collect your students, it isn't like Udemy, it isn't like course marketplaces. You're going to actually own your entire audience that you see through here, which makes those free mini courses out there that are, you know, so popular, the 7-day challenges, the 5-day challenges. Those things are really great to start building this email list up. And as you can see here, these are all just examples, so I can show you them. But these are all the people who have signed up for my courses, so to speak, right? So there's all of these emails coming in all the time, right? And you can actually export these out. You don't have to keep them in Thinkific, and you connect with your email marketing services through the Thinkific App Store here. You can connect with things like ActiveCampaign, MailChimp, etc. And you can have the entire ecosystem all completely owned by you, right? You can also import from files here. So if you do have an existing audience somewhere else, maybe you're using a different platform or using something else, you can bring those students in really quickly by just importing them, right? So Thinkific really does support you here in that respect of owning your data. And speaking of owning your data, there's also really great reporting tools within Thinkific here. They're going to show you all the details about your revenue, enrollments, student engagement, course progress, the money that's coming in off of different courses. So we give you a pretty great suite of tools here to find some insights about your course business. And then finally, we also talked a little bit about reviews. I'm just going to pop down here to the review section. You can also collect feedback from your students right in your courses here. So for example, we have some reviews here for the Career Accelerator coaching program. And you can reuse these across your website. So it really does give you the opportunity to use your data to the best advantage possible when you're using something like Thinkific to host your courses on. And I know I'm not going too deep into these things. I can see some things in the chat about that. I'm not going too deep into these features, but please jump in. This is completely free to get started, right? So if you go to thinkific.com and get started for free, you can actually go and test these things out, explore. You can get in touch with us. You can get on a call if you'd like to. It's totally up to you and how you want to explore Thinkific. But when you go through this process of exploring these things, there's also really great articles. And I know that Maddie and Kiri have been putting a lot out there in the chat already, which has been great. Thank you for that. So if you have any questions about something specific, just let Maddie or Kiri know and they'll be able to help you. Now, last trend. We're going to wrap up pretty soon here, and then we'll get into some live Q&A. This last trend here is really near and dear to my heart because growing up with online courses in the online course industry, I've seen the hard sell tactic for years, right? And let me know in the chat, have you been in a webinar before where somebody's saying you have to buy today, you only have 6 seconds to get to the checkout, that kind of thing? It's $3,000 for one course. Let me know in the chat if you've experienced that before. It's not fun, right? Yes, yuck, hate the hard sell. Yes, never. Yes, 6 seconds. Yeah, it's a nightmare, right? You got 6 seconds to get to the checkout. The price ends in 7. All the tricks in the book, right? We know we're course creators. It's not very fun. So creators in the knowledge economy, the top creators here are not doing that per se. They're going to be using free courses and low-cost courses to get people into the ecosystem. And then they upsell and retain customers to increase lifetime value. And lifetime value just means like the revenue earned over time in total from your customer, right? So you might be able to sell people on a $500 course one time, but they're probably not going to come back and buy different courses from you for a very long time. Usually those kinds of courses are very long and big, right? And it's a bit of a sales process to get them in the door in the first place, right? But with little to no cost, it's much easier to get people through the door, build trust as you go, build confidence that you are the person that they want to buy from. and then move forward from there, right? So we've all seen sales pages that just go on and on and on forever. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see. 25 bucks at the bottom of the page. We don't want to get to the bottom of the page, see $5,000 and just like, why did I spend 15 minutes reading this giant sales page, right? So if it was 25 bucks instead of that, people are way more likely to click buy, right? They're way more likely to get in on this. And that's why subscriptions are quite popular within the Thinkific course creator world. So the top 20% approach here, course creators are 2 times more likely to use subscriptions on their courses as a pricing. They're also 1.4 times more likely to use upsells, right? So using upsells throughout the course process, you saw that a little bit earlier. I demonstrated. You can do that in the checkout. You can do that after the checkout. You can do that in your course. You can do that after your course. You know, there's so many opportunities to do this and to increase LTV that you don't need to have all the money up front, right? You don't need to maximize LTV up front. So we're seeing the top 20% use free courses, live events, free downloads, pre-orders or pre-sales, targeted content, and lead scoring within their content. We talked to Amanda Schoenberg, who runs a baking for business membership site, and she decided to go with a model of charging only $25 a month. And here is why.
So I find that if you break it down, I've always liked the membership model because I learn better in that way. I learn better knowing that, okay, month after month, someone's going to be there, someone's going to help me, they're going to hold my hand. And so that's how I design my business. And I just found not only that, but you're not worrying. I'm not worrying about, okay, well, I'm not launching. So, you know, where's the money? It's you wake up and you know that the sales are going to be there because you know on average how many members you have, you know, and as long as you're not doing anything crazy, they don't all run away overnight. So to me, it's just a little safer. And also it allows me to grow with people and it lowers the barrier. So now people are, you know, sometimes people, I've been one of those people that have taken $2,000 courses from some of these big online, you know, and it makes you think, like, is this really worth it? Like, what am I going to get? Like, how is this going to help me? The barrier is low. And the minute you get in, within 1 month, I can get a win for anybody. Is one of the things I have is called a success path, because you're going to get different members at all different points. I have new people who are just starting to bake. I have brick and mortar people who make 5 figures every month. I'll come up with a list of classes for you to start off with so that everyone starts on the same pace. Think of the problems that people are going to have before they have them, and then give a solution to that problem. So that's how a membership site is different. So you have monthly contests, which is really great for retention and just building community and stuff like that. There's a newsletter. Of course, obviously, when they sign up, their emails. So a newsletter, that's a really good way. And that's a free way to just keep in contact. And another thing I like to do, a strategy that I like to do with that is called future pacing. So when I email you, I can email you and talk about now, but I can also tell you what's coming up. So therefore, you know, you have something to look forward to. So you continue to show up.
So that was Amanda Schoenberg talking about her membership site. I'm just going to make sure that the screen is sharing here. And a really big takeaway for us here at Thinkific too, listening to people like Amanda talk about their businesses, is that subscriptions really do just change the focus from selling to creating long-term value for your students. Thinkific is a subscription business, right? And that's how we operate our business too. So we totally understand that. And that's why we're aligned with that for sure. You want to make sure that whatever you're offering over time is giving value constantly, right? Subscriptions make a lot of sense for people who want to switch the focus from creating short-term value to creating long-term value to course creators. Now, that said, when you're just getting started here, subscriptions might not be the right way to go at first. You might want to get there eventually, have a long-term plan to start building out a membership site. It does take a lot of work to ensure that subscribers stay subscribed. The big difference here is that when you are selling something monolithic, like a giant course for $500, you do get that $500 up front. That's good. But when you are doing those subscriptions, you kind of have to sell somebody every month, right? If you're just doing $25 a month, it can take a lot of months to get to that same point of LTV. Now, you can make some strategic bets here on things like upsells during the process, upgrading their membership to different levels, to access to coaching, to access more one-on-one time with you, feedback, those kinds of things really work really well for that. But for the most part, it is about creating a community. So Amanda was talking about newsletters, communities, all of that good stuff, live events, special opportunities. We see some course creators actually go out to different cities for work, and they say to their community, hey, subscribers, I'm going to be in this city at this time. Come meet with me for lunch, right? Those are the kinds of intangible, really super awesome benefits that you can get in those kinds of experiences that you don't usually get with these one-off courses, right? So I'm going to show you really quickly how pricing works in Thinkific, just to show you how easy it is. And then we will go ahead and move on into Q&A. So I'm just going to show you really, really quickly here that within Thinkific itself, we totally leave it up to you. Just like we say, your business is your business. It's not our business. And we let you do anything you want with your customers. Within Thinkific itself, oh, let me just double check. There we go. Within Thinkific itself, we give you the complete freedom to go ahead and set up your pricing any which way you want. There we go. That link was not working for me. There we go. So complete freedom and ease to make your course pricing anything that you want here. So if we switch over to the pricing tab, you can see here that on my course Career Wayfinder, I got a one-time price here, which is totally fine to have. I got a $4.97 price point here, and you can also set up additional price points. So you can still do this technique here when you're first getting started, just to get some traction, get your foot in the right direction here. You can do monthly payment plans for larger priced courses, but I want you to also pay attention here. I'm going to back up and I'm going to check out that bundle. So click over to memberships and bundles, and you'll remember this page. We have all of our courses in the bundle here, and a customer will get access to that on a subscription basis of $20 per month. And I can go ahead and edit that to add free trial periods. So you can do maybe 7 days free. And then the subscription kicks in. You can also do custom first payments. If you are concerned about making up that LTV, we can jumpstart that by saying it's $200 off the bat, and then it's $20 every month after. It's totally up to you on how you want to do this, essentially, right? And you can also create additional subscriptions here. So for example, you can do an annual subscription of 20% off every year. You can do months, weeks, whatever you need to here. So it's complete freedom on your side to do what you want to do with your pricing. All right, we made it. We made it. We are running up to about 50 minutes here on the clock. We made it to the big takeaways. I'm just going to do a quick summary. I noticed some people here joined a little bit late, so I will summarize here for you, and then we will move into Q&A. Just keep in mind there is a replay, so you can always go back. So here are the tactics that work best for the top creators on the Thinkific platform. Number one, find your niche. You don't need a huge following to get started. You just need to give people the content they love that no one else seems to be serving them, right? You don't need over 10,000 followers anymore. Most course creators on our platform that are doing really well don't even have that much in terms of audience. You can do this with a small audience, a small dedicated one. Number two, create a community around your course. This is incredibly important. You got to build value into your course with communities and help keep students engaged long-term with your learning ecosystem by creating that community aspect. You'll also want to bundle multiple learning products together down the road. Once you have those things, extrapolate out, make them simpler in format or more complex in format, and bundle together to make more value. If you bundle multiple learning products together, you start to kind of peel back an onion of other learning products that can fit into it. Number four, you want to take control of your audience and your relationships with your customers. You need to own the relationship. You don't want to earn it forever. Earning is still important after that, but you do want to majority own your audience and marketing. And then five, you do want to make the switch to value-based pricing. If you are struggling with a hard sell, consider the switch to subscriptions. Consider the switch to free or low-cost items that lead to higher cost items. And just know that top creators are using this model to draw in more customers by taking a customer-focused approach to pricing rather than a business approach to pricing, right? Focus on what the customer feels. Have a chat with them. See how they feel about your pricing. So I want to quickly gauge here, how do you feel? Do you believe that with these strategies and tactics, And with Thinkific, you could propel yourself into the top 20% of course creators selling and earning in 2022. Let me know how you feel in the chat. I just want to get a quick temperature check. Sophie, perhaps, or sorry, yes. Dale, perhaps. Dashana, yes. Kimberly, hopeful. Audrey, yes. Donna, I don't have a following, so it is difficult. Yes, that's why I wanted to include that slide there. You don't need a giant one. You just need to attract a dedicated one, right? Great update. Affirmative. It's hard to build a following for sure. You bet. Melissa, for sure. Cynthia, yes. Great information. Okay, great. Missy, yes, but I feel I have a lot to do to start. Yeah, I totally understand that feeling. Actually, I want to know in the chat too if anyone is feeling like overwhelmed by the amount of work they have to do. I really didn't want you to feel that way by showing you all of these top 20% creators. They didn't get there overnight, right? We talked to all of these people. They've been in business for, 3, 5, 10, 15 years. They've been building these businesses over time. So if you're just getting started, yeah, there's a lot to do, but I don't want you to look at it like a giant journey that's going to take forever to get to, right? We're trying to shortcut you here. These are the goals for the future. And when you get to them is when you should get to them, right? So don't feel too overwhelmed. I want you to know that it's a journey. And I want you to know that Thinkific's here for you. We're going to be here for you all along the way. We have support services. We have courses. We have our knowledge base. We have amazing people like Kiri and Maddie in the chat. Quick thank you to Kiri and Maddie for all the help you're doing there. And I want you to know that you can get started for free. So you can just go to thinkific.com. You can get started. If you're feeling confident and motivated, jump into thinkific.com, jump into a free Thinkific website, explore, give us a shout. You can contact us by live chat. You can get on a phone call with us if you'd like. And we can talk about how it could work for you, right? Thinkific's really easy. It's a really powerful tool. And like I said, we're going to have you back the whole way. So go to thinkific.com and you can get started now. I'm just going to pop that into the chat there. There you go. So that button there, Learn More, will take you to the Thinkific homepage. You can just save that in a separate tab if you want for later. You don't have to go there and sign up right away. Just go and explore, see what we're about, that kind of thing. And that's the presentation. So thank you so much for coming. I'd love to answer questions here. If you have to go, I totally understand. I just want to say thank you again. As entrepreneurs, as business people, as business owners out there, your time is of utmost value to you, and I completely understand that. So I just want to say thank you so much for spending the time with me today. I really hope this was a valuable webinar for you here today. No hard sell, like we said, no hard sells in this webinar. We just really want you to find success in this space. It's really heating up. The student demand is still huge into 2022. So we want more course creators out there to spread their wisdom and expertise and to unlock personal transformations in more and more people. That's what gets us going here at Thinkific. So if you are into that, make sure to sign up for free, check it out, and let us know what you think. So thank you so much for coming. I'd love to get into some of the questions here today. So I'm going to go ahead and we have a lot of questions in the hopper. So I'm going to go ahead and go through these from the oldest question to the newest question. And I'm going to try and answer as many as I can before the end of the event here today. We got about 10 minutes to 11, but I can stay a little bit longer to answer some questions too. All right. Connie, the toolbox for Latasha, is it a book or manual or whatever, Connie? So these toolboxes that course creators put together for their audiences typically include things like templates, swipe copy, ebooks, reference sheets, those kinds of things. Those kinds of toolboxes are so valuable to people, especially when they're in courses, because it shortcuts their practice. It shortcuts putting the learning into action. And just like people here today were saying, you've learned a lot today. It's going to be a lot of action to put that together, right? So the more that you can shortcut that, the better. We're in the business of shortcuts. Online courses are shortcuts to a transformation in an individual, right? So we want to curate, we want to give them everything they need to have an amazing transformation. Connie, define toolkit, please. I just did, hopefully. Let me know if you have any other questions. Michelle, can you use PayPal to pay with Thinkific? PayPal for way to pay in Thinkific. Yes, you can. So we do integrate also with PayPal, Stripe, and we have Thinkific payments available in North America. So give us a shout if you are in North America and we can get you on there. Melanie says, is this platform hosting available in the Thinkific app? The Demio platform that I'm using right now is a webinar tool. It is not, but we do offer Zoom. So Zoom is a really, really stable, awesome tool. We wanted to use Demio here for some of the benefits of that. But when you're teaching, I prefer to use Zoom. So in our own courses, we use Zoom meetings and Zoom webinars. They've got really great teaching tools in there, like breakout rooms and those kinds of things. So I highly recommend using Zoom for your courses. Vikash, lots of students looking for mobile apps for Android and iOS. Yeah, so that is something that is on our horizon for sure. I can't give any details, unfortunately, on this webinar, but get in touch with us if you're interested in that, and we can get into a conversation. Caroline Nixon, can you filter your users by which course they are enrolled in the basic plan, or is that in Pro only? So filters are on the Pro plan. You can find out more about the pricing for Thinkific by going to thinkific.com/pricing. I'm going to go ahead and drop that in the chat for you too. So this page here, this pricing page, will have all the details that you need in order to make a decision about which plan you should be on. How do you reuse your reviews across the website? I can quickly show you actually. So if I go ahead and jump back to our website here, I was talking about course reviews like this, for example. So if we have a really great course review from somebody, 5 stars, they look really good, we want to go ahead and add that to our site. So in the site builder in Thinkific, you can build out complete websites. So this is your sales page, your about me page, your reviews page. You can build all those pages in Thinkific. Typically, I like to add these things to a course page. So let's go to the sales page here for Career Wayfinder. And then if I scroll down here, you can actually see that there's a section on the page called Social Proof Reviews. You can add the section by looking up Social Proof, clicking on Reviews. There we go. And then you just add one here. So as you can see here, there we go. So I'm going to add that review directly onto this page here. So I almost gave up until this course. And then you just save the page and it's on there. So you can use it across your entire website. And you can use reviews across different courses if they're just general ones. Those are typically good ones just to have on the home page as like a general endorsement. I love to add those ones there. Awesome. Let's see what else we have here. More questions coming in, which is great. Thank you, everybody, for that. Scarlett, Maddie, Kimberly, I want to build my website to join my course. Does Thinkific have a module to build websites? Yeah, so I just showed you Thinkific websites can be complete websites. You don't need another website tool. If you already have one, though, they're really easy to integrate towards each other. You just need to add a sign-in button at the top. So I can show you a really quick example of somebody who has a website already. So let's go to Coastal Drone Co. So Coastal Drone Co. had an existing website here. Not quite sure which platform they're using for this one. But if you just click this button up here that says sign in, this actually takes you over to their Thinkific website, and you can use it that way too. So you don't need to use the Thinkific tool to build out a website. You can actually just link out to a student sign in from your existing site. But if you don't have a website yet, it's a really great tool to do that. Nikki, the pre-order list doesn't allow you to take payments, does it? So the pre-order section, I believe is what you're talking about. The lead capture form doesn't on Thinkific. However, you can go to your courses page here. You can edit a course. You can jump over to the Publish tab, and you can see that there is a pre-order option here. So the pre-order option allows you to charge for the course before it's ready to go. If you're just collecting emails, you can use the lead capture section on your site. But if you're using this option here, the pre-order section, the pricing still stands. So whatever we put in our pricing tab over here on this side, this is going to charge the customer $500, but it won't give them access to the course yet. So that's a pre-order, right? When they're ready to take the course, you just head over here, you click on publish, you save, and then they can access the content in the course. It's super easy to do. And we have a full guide on our help site. I'll just really quickly show you how to get help before we end the webinar here today. If you go to the Thinkific button down here, it's going to open up chat, our chat assistant, and then you can search things like pre-selling. I'm going to go ahead and add that in there, and Champ will let me know how to do this. So he's going to search. They're going to search. And how to sell your online course guide here. Click that button, and it's going to open up a full guide to me on how to pre-sell my online course. So like I said, we have your back at every step. If you are in Thinkific and you want to know how to do something, we make sure it's really easy to figure that out. And you can always get in touch with us if you need more help. Donna, do any of the top course creators have used or have success with generating leads or conversions with Facebook ads? Absolutely. So Facebook ads have been and are being used by top course creators out there constantly. Facebook is a really wonderful place to target a very specific kind of person. But the best way to use Facebook ads to find leads for your courses is to understand who buys your courses in the first place, right? So you need course sales. You need to understand very clearly who the customer is. And you need to use the Facebook Pixel tool on your course website to find these people. So if you go to the Thinkific app store, you can actually set up your Facebook Pixel quite easily. It's right on the top here. And then you can use Thinkific with Facebook ads quite easily. So I won't say that Facebook ads are easy, but setting it up with Thinkific is easy. We make it quite easy to do that. Like I said, you kind of have to know who you're targeting to begin with, and you do need to know a little bit about ads to get started there. So I'll put you in touch with one more resource here when it comes to marketing and selling. It can be a bit of a never-ending learning curve for a lot of people. I understand that. So what we're going to do is we're going to check out Thinkific.com/experts. I'll put that in the chat for you too. Thinkific.com/experts is your resource. So if you do need help with anything, you want to hire somebody to do the marketing for you, you can go ahead and do that. So customer acquisition here, we'll filter the list by that. And then we have some really amazing people here. I can literally vouch for any of these people. I do know them. We have vetted every single person on this page, and they will be able to help you with anything when it comes to ads, when it comes to email lists, sales funnels, whatever you need, essentially. All of these people are incredible. If you're looking for something a little bit simpler, maybe you just need somebody to create some ad images for you or to write your ad copy for you. We also have the Fiverr.com store here. So you can find Fiverr experts here that are going to, or sorry, I shouldn't call them experts. They're professionals. Let's not mix the two up. Thinkific experts, we vet Fiverr, Fiverr vets, right? But you're going to find experts on Fiverr too. So it can be a little bit confusing, but these are the kinds of people here that we trust on the Fiverr website to do really great work for you for more things like copywriting and design and that kind of thing. Like I said, Thinkific, we have your back on every angle possible, right? So just trust that and let us know if you run into any troubles, and we can get you connected with the best resource. All right. Sorry, just popping back to these questions. Is the transcript available to download? The transcript to this webinar? No, unfortunately. We may be able to do that for you, but I don't want to overpromise here. Transcripts, maybe you were talking about the audio lesson transcripts. You can add files to download within your Thinkific lessons. So if you are thinking more for your students, which is great, you can add transcripts right there so people can read along with an audio lesson or a video lesson, but you can also upload captions and you can have people download transcripts as text files within your lessons as well. Kimberly, is there a way we can download the chat conversation? There's so much going on here. I'd love to review it later. I don't believe in Demio. You can, unfortunately. However, Kimberly, if you do want to watch the replay, the chat will come in as it happened. Which are the community-focused apps in the Thinkific App Store? Yeah, so there are some really good apps in the App Store that do community for you. I would say that on Thinkific side of things, let me just clean up my tabs here. On Thinkific sides of things, you should get started with the Thinkific Communities feature. It's the easiest, simplest, best, and probably the most cost-effective way to do community on your course website. But if you're looking for something a little bit more expansive in terms of functionality, you can find community apps in the Thinkific app site. So let me just quickly scroll here and see if I find any. So PeerBoard is one of them there. You can check out PeerBoard for sure. Yeah, there's actually, I think there's a few in here that do that, but realistically, it adds a little bit more complexity to your business. So there's always a bit of a trade-off. If you want to add an app that does more or that does a very specific thing, that's totally fine, but it's going to add a little bit of complexity, a little bit of a learning curve for you. So if you're looking to get started, I highly recommend using whatever's in Thinkific first and then moving to apps afterwards. Great, Nurzan, can I from the basic account create several courses with separate brand names and with separate websites names? No, unfortunately, that is not going to be on the basic plan. However, you can get in touch with us. Just give us a shout. Go to thinkific.com/pricing, and you can give us a shout there and let us know what you need specifically, and we might be able to recommend a plan for you. I do think that you can have separate courses for sure that have separate brands, but it would be on one website. So if you need multiple different websites, go to thinkific.com and check out Thinkific Plus. That's the plan that you want to get on for multiple websites, all on Thinkific. Michelle, what is the best way to give members a discount? Coupon codes or something else? Yeah, so coupon codes are a really great way to do that. I did flash on the screen for a little bit here, something that we like to call order bumps as well. But coupon codes are easy ways to do that. Order bumps, you can deduct a price amount from the course when a student is buying a different course. So it's kind of like a cross-sell or an upsell in the checkout. And you'll find those under market and sell here. So we have cross-sells, coupons, order bumps, sales widgets, all that kind of stuff. You should check all of these features out. Coupons, really easy to use. You just set up a flat discount. You can do $20 off, you can do 50% off, whatever you want for specific products, and you can have them automatically expire. They come with coupon codes. It's actually really nice. It's a really nice feature when you're wanting something flexible with discounts. I would recommend checking it out and testing it out on your own. Donna, Maddie, does Thinkific, do any of the top creators have or use leads or conversions with Facebook ads? Yes, so hopefully I answered that one. Let me know if you have more questions. So we will skip that question. Jessica, what is the best practice around the communities? I set up one global community with the idea of creating a space for each course. Do you find a separate community per course more effective? This is a wonderful question. So on our side of things, we've tested this out and we ran a coaching program 3 times last year. We had about 2,500 people join the coaching program, which was really exciting. And then in each different cohort, we set it up so that you can have a community per cohort. Eventually, we found that typically you have to put a lot of effort into making sure that each community is running and healthy. So we just brought everybody into the same community, and now we're focusing on that space. Top course creators can do it a couple different ways. I've seen top course creators use individual communities per course. And those work really well when you have like course rituals, I like to call them almost. So for example, in a knitting course, they had a weekly show us what you're knitting post, and people got an email. They went back to the community space. They posted what they were working on. So it was a lively experience. So if you don't have those rituals, it can kind of go away, the engagement. If you are building a global community, it works really well to have not only people who have taken the course, but also people who are just starting to take the course interact with each other. Having that kind of like cross-pollination allows you to rely on the elders of your community to provide advice to your new community members. It takes some support off of your shoulders as well, and it creates connection between people. It's a wonderful way to have social learning happen. So really, it's up to you, but I recommend doing both if possible, if you have the bandwidth as an entrepreneur. I mean, if you're a solopreneur, if you're on your own, I totally get it. But if you have a small team, or if you can hire somebody to do that on a regular basis for you, then it makes a lot of sense. All right, Jolay, what is the percentage of non-English speaking course creators selling to non-English speaking students? That's a good question. I don't have a specific number for you, but I can tell you that on Thinkific, we see mostly English as the default language. And of course, we're a little bit biased because we're built in Canada and we first started serving an English community, so we have the most amount of customers there. But we actually see a lot of customers in different parts of the world, Europe, Africa, and Asia, creating courses now that are completely supported in their languages. And so we're going to see that percentage increase over time. It really is about how Thinkific's growing instead of the actual makeup of the industry. From our perspective, we're looking at Thinkific's data. So I don't want to skew it and say like it's mostly English because our customers are mostly English. So what I would recommend doing is potentially going out and trying to find that information from maybe a third-party data supplier. They should be able to give you a good understanding of how much online courses are trends in different countries. I can tell you on our platform, India's heating up, Nigeria heating up for sure. Europe's been great. We've been moving through Spain, France, Germany, all of those places as well. And South America has been hot for a number of years. So Brazil, incredibly hot market for online courses and online training. A lot of people upskilling and doing tech or software work there too. So it's incredibly important to be able to support those people, and we do our best to. Laura, with subscriptions, can you add on new courses seamlessly? Yes, you totally can. So what I showed you earlier was a bundle, and if you add courses to bundles, what the Thinkific platform will do is give access to that course to everyone who is subscribing to that bundle currently. So we handle all the heavy work for you. Like I said, Thinkific's powerful and easy. We try to make it as easy as possible because running a business is hard. So we try to take that out of the equation for you. Neil, what are the best ways to market any free course? This is a really good question. So when you're marketing free courses, it really is about, if you were just getting started, obviously send it to whatever audience you have and really hype it up. Just because it is a free course does not mean that you have to say, hey, I got this free thing, go check it out, whatever. Make it feel like a course launch. Make it feel like you're selling this thing for $1,000 and it's a really big deal to you. Put that out there and then have just an easy way to get back to it for people. So with Kat Norton, we saw on her TikTok profile, she has a link tree. I don't know if you know what that means, but a link tree is essentially a tool that you can use to list a bunch of links out. So just always have a way to get there for your audience. If you don't have an audience yet, the best way to do this, especially with free courses, because it's an easy ask, you go to somebody who does serve the audience that you want to serve already. So these are influencers, podcasters, bloggers, authors, whatever. You find those people and you work out relationships with them to supply content to them. So that could be guest blog posts, guest podcast, anything like that. And typically at the end of these things, you work out a deal where you can link back to your website or link back to a specific product. Free is always best in these circumstances because it's a cold audience. So this is a group of people that don't know who you are. Their level of risk that they're willing to take with you is really low. So you really want to get them into some free content, hopefully not even email gated, and then that moves them into a free course. Or you could just go straight to free course and test that out. Marketing is all about experimenting, so make sure to do that. Manish, my course attendees get 8 weeks of live classes as a part of the course. I also want to offer live classes as a standalone product to non-attendees. I want to offer live classes as a standalone. Yep. How do I enable the 8 weeks free to course customers? 8 weeks of live classes as a part of the course. I also want to offer live classes as a standalone product to non-attendees. How do I enable the 8 weeks free to course customers? Okay. So it sounds like you have two courses or two products. You have a course for attendees that people pay for. They probably get some content plus some live classes. And then you have just live classes as a standalone product. You're going to want to make two courses. You're going to want to host all of your live classes in one and then link to those classes in the other. So what you're going to do is on Zoom, if you're familiar with the Zoom setup, you create your live lessons in Thinkific. You go to your Zoom account and you're going to see those live lessons as meetings in your Zoom account or webinars, if that's your choice. And then from there, you can copy the join links and then just link to them from within a different product out there. So if you're using a Thinkific course, use a text lesson and then just link out to all of the different meetings, those join links, and then those people can jump in there. That's how I would do that. Matt, what size of a following would you suggest that we need before starting this work? Matt, it really depends. So it's not about the size of the following. It's about how dedicated they are, where they are in their customer journey. Are they just learning about a problem that they're having, or do they really have this big problem, right? So there's a lot of different factors here, but typically what I see is you do need a little bit of volume in order to test ideas out, right? And you need that to be increasing all the time. So consider working on your course business as two streams of work. There's product work where you're building courses out and you're building things that people can buy or sign up for free and trade their email address for. And then there's audience building. So you constantly want to be building your audience while you're building your courses. It's a bit of a juggling job, but you can do it. You just have to focus, right? You got to focus on one area where your customers are. So if you are doing that with a small audience, what I recommend doing is try to get some traction with some passionate people who have a passion for what you're teaching and they want to learn more. Try to get that to around 2 to 1,000 people. So 200 to 1,000 people. If you have that many people within a following, typically you can get a couple of them into a small group of people that can give you feedback, that are going to buy from you, and then you work your way up from there. It really is in online courses about building trust. So you build trust through your website, you build trust through giving away free content, valuable content. You also build trust from getting people through the door, even if it's one student, and then working with them and creating a transformation and having them tell other people. So collect that testimonial, collect that review, use that, and that will help you with your marketing. All right, so we have a few more questions here. I'm not going to be able to get to all of them, unfortunately, but I will try to in the time that we have left here. I want to say that if you're still here and you're still watching and you still have questions in the hopper here, and we don't have time to get to them, please email us. You can give us a shout. Go to help.thinkific.com. Sorry, support.thinkific.com. Either will get you there. And I'm just going to show you on the screen really quickly here that there is a really great search bar here. So if it's things like communities, like that, you can see that we have tons of articles about how the communities work. If you can't find what you're looking for, you can also contact us through this website. I do believe that the contact is near the bottom here. So you can connect with us here. You can contact support. You can click this button and you can send us an email here. And that will help us triage your request and get back to you eventually via email. But for the most part, 95% of the answers are going to be in this website here when it comes to features. If you're looking for advice when it comes to running your course website, I would highly recommend hitting up our blog. So you can go to thinkific.com/blog. You can find some categories at the top here, but you can also search things like Facebook ads in the search bar here, and you can find some guides. So you can see we've got tons of articles about Facebook ads here. This is one of my favorites here. This 13-minute read. This is a complete guide, and I highly recommend checking that one out. All right, let's see if we can answer a few more questions here. We'll answer about maybe 2 or 3 more. Just going to find some good ones here. That's a good one. How do we become a Thinkific expert? I don't sell courses. I set them only in Thinkific. Melanie, if you are setting up other people's websites for them, you can go to thinkific.com/experts and you can learn how to join from there. Sorry, thinkific.com/partners. So go to thinkific.com/partners. What's the average creator's number of courses in their portfolio? Really good question, Angel. And Hell, maybe. Typically, we see course creators creating at the top level, it's between 3 and above. So usually people have a free version, they have a paid version, and then they might have some other kinds of courses in their hoppers to go. So that could be like coaching, webinars, that kind of thing. And then some people create a lot of material on Thinkific. We've seen course creators with over 50 courses. We've seen subscription sites with hundreds of courses. So it really depends, but definitely more than one is the answer that you're probably looking for. Okay. Can we have access to experience a course? What are experts doing in their courses? My first inclination here is to send you to our courses on Thinkific. So if you go to training.thinkific.com, which I'll put in the chat here for everybody here, you will be able to find some free training courses here on things like webinar funnels, curriculum and content, how to make really engaging courses. You can take the Thinkific Fast Track. This is going to be a complete walkthrough of everything you need to do to set up your Thinkific website. It's going to fast track your way to launch day. That's the name. And these are really great resources for you as well. Now, the other resource I'm going to put you in touch with here is our Facebook group. So I'm going to share that in the chat here too. Our Facebook group is full of course creators. We have over 30,000 course creators here. And what I like to do sometimes is just ask some questions here. And you can say, hey, I'd love to see some examples, right? And people will be more than happy to share their courses with you. So run over to that Facebook group and join there. All right, and last question for the day. See this question a bunch here. Can you have communities at the course level with a pro plan or only one global community? That's a quick answer. So on the pro plan, you can have one community, and then above that, you can have unlimited communities. Do you find more engagement with Thinkific communities or Facebook groups? That's the question I wanted to answer. The last one here. This is a really good question because when it comes to Facebook groups, I would treat this as like your top marketing, your top level marketing. So these are for cold audience people. These are for people who are not quite your customers yet. Facebook groups are really good for that. You can leverage the power of Facebook, the power of a marketplace almost. I always consider social media like a marketplace because there's a bit of a compromise to having your people there. You don't get access to them at all. But when it comes to engagement, when people are just learning about you and they're just getting started, Facebook groups are pretty good. When it comes to a group of people that you want to keep together, your customers, and you want to have a really special relationship with those people, the engagement is just a different flavor in Thinkific communities. That's what we recommend using Thinkific communities for. Now, a lot of people don't have audiences on Facebook, and that's totally fine. So you can use Thinkific communities as like a Facebook group. However, I do recommend using Thinkific communities if you are okay with using Facebook for groups. Thinkific communities is a great way to add incredible value to your courses and to create a highly engaged group of people that love you and are passionate about what you do. Okay, that's the last question for today. I'm going to end the webinar here. I really want to say thank you for everybody who stuck around. We have almost half the people who were here during the presentation still, which is awesome. Thank you so much for your time. And as always, we are more than happy to help out with anything. We are going to be your partner in online course creation and in the online knowledge economy place. We want to be your business partner. So just give us a shout. You can reach us. You can go to thinkific.com, sign up for free there, give us a shout, explore, have fun, and let us know what you think. Thank you so much for all of your amazing attention here today and your great questions. My name is Aaron Morin. You can check me out on LinkedIn if you want. You can connect there or on the Facebook group that I just showed, and we can keep the conversation going. So thank you so much and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.